2024, How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies was a film that went all over Southeast Asia and spawned responses of people on the internet sobbing their eyes out. So in the movie, after having seen the film or during the end. And here it's been playing in the arthouse theater. So I was like, yeah, I should go. I mean, I didn't really see those people crying or anything, but when I started to look into it, it's like, okay. But I saw the poster and I saw the title, How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies, and I was like, now, isn't that wholesome? That's a nice movie about a grandson who wants to make lots of money to show grandma that he is going to be,
successful.
Yes, he's going to be successful. No. So, about a third into the movie, I was like, if he's gonna make lots of millions, how's he gonna do that? And then about 2/3 into the movie, I was like, that whole thing ain't happening. So I'm not sure if the title might not be a mistranslation. Because I don't...
Or wishful thinking?
But it doesn't even come up in the film. It's literally not about how to make millions before grandma dies.
Figurative?
It's a stretch. But grandma does start looking for $1 million and $1 million baht. So Thai currency. You'd have to do the calculations. Because she needs a plot, a very fancy, large plot for her burial. And there's a specific point to that. So after I watched the film, which is great, don't watch the trailer before you watch the film, because after I watched the film, I watched the trailer. And guess what? They spoil almost everything. They don't quite spoil the end, but they do tell you everything that you're on the ride there during the film to find out. So when it comes to arthouse movies, I just never go watch a trailer. Just don't. Because that's what you want to find out when you're in the movies. So I'm very glad I didn't watch the trailer, because I would have been less confused and more clued in. But quite honestly, the only confusion was the title. If they hadn't given me the title, that wouldn't have been an expectation I would have had, that the boy was going to make millions. And going, gosh, how is he going to do that? No. This movie is about the difference in wealth where it comes to families. So if people in the same family have different levels of wealth. Not only that, but the law sustains this. And it does that in a way that the law used to do it in, let's call it the UK. When you look at Downton Abbey, is that Pride and Prejudice, all of these things, only one person can inherit the entirety. This is similar. The problem with it is, I mean, that's one layer. A second law layer is that the inheritance doesn't seem to be settled in the law. Somebody just has to point at a person and saying, you're going to inherit all my stuff. And now we have difficult family dynamics, because the entirety of normal life is now tied to who's got the wealth, how can I get that from that person. And this young man who is out of school, so let's call him 22. His name is M. That's one of the few people whose name I can actually use. Because it's very difficult to make out their names. After school, he seems to be not on his way to get a job. So what he tries to do is become a Twitch gamer. And that doesn't work. So he's mooching on his mom's in his mom's house, and he's just trying to make it work. He's convinced his mother and his family that this is the way to make it work. But we find out in the film that he's not the only dude in the family that cannot make stuff work. And so there's maybe a culture in that family of there's going to be a couple of guys that are just never going to amount to anything. And at least he can stay in his mom's house. But it starts with him trying to get, he's maxed out his credit card and is trying to get another computer out of his mother. And she's not saying no hard enough as far as I'm concerned. It's like, no, shoo, beat it, make do. So that's the culture within the family, is that they're enabling some of these men, and there's an uncle that does the same things. He just does it worse because he's older and he's racked up a lot more debt, that sort of thing. But this boy's on his way because he's maxed out his credit card. And that's step one to... I mean, at least it's not gambling debt. And he's not the type of boy... I mean, somebody who's gaming is not going to be going out late nights racking up gambling debt. Maybe through the internet, but not... So he's a nerd, yeah.
Yeah. You can rack up a lot of gaming debts in internet. And you can...
Sure.
Spend so much money on equipment, like endlessly.
Yeah. Yes, and he's trying to do that. Well, he already has a very nice box with, he's got all the connections, he's got the internet. So he should now just start working at it. And he is doing it, but he's floundering. He's not getting there. So his cousin, some ways removed, he visits her in her granddad's house. Somewhere on the internet they were saying it is his granddad, but that's clearly not his granddad. So you can have a cousin that has a different granddad because, hey, one of her other parents has her other parent has also parents. So she's taking care of her granddad in his very, very old age, and she's, for that work, she is expecting the house. And so M walks into this situation, and he's never opened his eyes before. He's never actually looked at people. He's never opened his ears. That is definitely in the film, is that he was always sort of like in his own dream world. But now he's like, wait, but shouldn't you be making money if you have that skill? Because she's actually a trained nurse. And she says, that's what I'm doing right now. And that's interesting because at the beginning of the film, it's kind of like, does she actually mean that? And if you've seen the trailer, she clearly does mean that. But you're also, what is this, a one-off? Is this a career path? What's she doing? Or is this just, I mean, how many grandparents do you have? Halfway through the film, she moves in with an auntie who also needs care. Who's in much better condition, obviously, because it's one generation less. But still, she's definitely expecting that this is also going to... This is a sort of a trade. We're now talking, this is a business. She also, I'm skipping forward a little bit, but she offers him the chance to get in with the situation with the auntie. I'll split it with you. You will get a portion. And I'm thinking, oh, tenuous. One, he doesn't have any sort of medical degree. But also, if it's not in writing, none of this is in the bag until it's in the bag. And yes, they're very good friends, and she's his cousin, but this is very dangerous.
If there's enough work for an unskilled extra set of hands, she needs the help. It'll be worth for both of them to do that. But formalizing it would be good. Yeah. But I don't know if her agreement with the old man is also formalized. It's not formalized. There you go.
No, but by the time that because she did it a few years, and she's expecting to do it a few years for her auntie as well. So I think if you think back in terms of the 1900s, even the 1800s, in the UK, people did that. You would go take care of Great Aunt Agatha, and Great Aunt Agatha will bestow on you some of her wealth.
Yeah. You'd have expectations from her.
You have expectations. So maybe this is a window into this is still going on in Thailand. Because the law doesn't allow for fair child's portion. So in the Netherlands, when a parent dies, first of all, everything goes to the spouse. But when both of them die, the children inherit. Well, the children inherit anyway, even though it goes first to the spouse. But there's a construct that the spouse will not be ripped out of their house, because that's the upshot of that. But so fair inheritance means that a child will always have the legal right to their child's portion. It's a specific part of the portion divide up of the total inheritance.
Yeah, the minimum portion. So you can actually inherit more, but there's a bylaw, a minimum. So a parent can't disinherit that child.
And that's the next thing. The fact that you can disinherit is, I would say, that's actually an evil construct, because now you have the children. So M's grandma. Ama, the other name I can use, but it's probably means grandma. She has a house, a modest house, but still, all of them want it. The M's mom has a nice house. Her two brothers, one of them has a very nice house. The other one is the deadbeat uncle that I was just talking about, that is always racking up debt. But except for his mother's not terribly interested in inheritance, because she already has a nice house. And with nice I just mean nice, serviceable, not like nice, like wonderful, etc. This is just normal middle class. What I as Dutch person would call normal middle class. But Ama, the grandma, makes her money making congee, which is a rice porridge that people eat usually in the mornings. She goes out she gets up at 5 a.m. She goes and sells it at 7 a.m. And she has been saving money, and she has, one would assume, paid off the house, because that's pretty much the storyline here, is that the house is what everybody wants. So now the law, because the law doesn't allow for a rightful share for every child to inherit, the children actually have to go up to each other or collude with each other, or they have to sort of try to get in under the radar, like this cousin did. She got the entire inheritance of her grandfather, so she passed over one or several children, which would be in her parental generation. So if M's going to do that, then he has ulterior motive. He has expectations. He doesn't quite have expectations yet, because he's coming in pretty much out of the cold. He's had blinders on until this movie starts. And then the grandma's and then grandma gets a diagnosis of stage 4 cancer. And so everybody's suddenly being kind to grandma. Yes. M moves in with grandma, and that's actually the story. He does it probably for the wrong reasons. On the other hand, we've seen that he's absolutely unsuited for anything else. And grandma at one point, this is further along the experience for him, but she buys him a shirt, which basically means you have to go to work now. You have to leave now, because he moves in with her. Because he's living at his mom's, and he's like, bye mom, I'm gonna do this. He sold his computer.
Well, yes. That's something.
Yes. He installed, because grandma does need really a lot of care, and he installs this eye that makes sure that he on his phone can see if grandma's okay if he's away from the house. That comes in handy when the little jar of money that she's been The little jar of money that she's been saving her entire life goes missing. And she thinks it's him. Because who else should it be? He knows where everything is. And then he can show her with the eyes, like it was the uncle. It was one of her sons that came in. When he was asked to install like clamps for in the bathroom so that she could push herself up with. And it's like, and he just stole stuff. He raids her kitchen and he steals a big chunk of money. And Grandma lets it happen. Grandma
doesn't really have much choice because she can take it to the police, but that's her son. And it is a significant amount of money. There's nothing she can do if she doesn't want him to go to jail, which I'm sure she doesn't.
She won't. She will never do that, no.
And then she can only shut up about it.
Yeah, that's problematical, so...
Get a jar with a lock. Put the jar on a chain.
Well, there is in the beginning, she goes with M to the bank and deposits money. And I'm thinking, okay, she's at least got the bank account. And that does come in at the end as well. So this film is clever. They do set things up and then they pay off later. But they make you forget about it in the meantime because so much happens. And that's very smart. Because by the time that Grandma actually dies, I was also thinking, because he's never going to get the house, right? So yeah, I mean, this entire thing needs a spoiler at the beginning. But I was thinking, maybe the bank account.
He's young. He can reinvent himself one more time.
And that's something else, because this film is more... It is less a financial statement. To me, it's a financial statement because it's like, okay, what's happening and why are these things happening? It's more shown as this is going to happen because this is the life that these, they're living in and this is the situation. And by living with her, he also learns the business of making congee and selling it at the market in the morning. And they never say it in the film, but I think that he has learned a work ethic because the whole thing probably took a year. And you can't help but learn in that amount of time when you're close quarters, you're with a person, you're living that life, then he has now learned how to do that. So if nothing else, he can go sell congee at the market.
And forever and ever people will need food. And it needs to be made by somebody. Coming from a factory is not...
People want to buy artisan food at the market.
Yeah.
It's homemade food. That's what people want.
And it's hot, and it's there, and he will forever have a job in that. The service industry, which and this is part of the service industry, is indeed where he needs to be.
Yeah. So he may not be a salaryman, but he could sell food to the salaryman.
Yeah.
And he's probably had enough education and he has the internet, the entire internet, to tell him how you could turn that into an actual food store and or you could turn it into a diner.
Yeah, and if he can she could do the morning crowd and then she was done, but he could also expand to lunch.
Yeah.
Because he's young.
He's a young guy and he can do it faster and he can do it more. So he has lots of options. He can now go in with his cousin in the care business. But again, I would formalize it with the cousin. I would go to a notary and have things written out that if this comes to her, then percentage X would be his. It's also good to hammer that out beforehand and instead of saying, I will give you a portion.
It could be in Thailand that just a handshake deal, that what they have is a handshake deal, and it doesn't need to be more formalized. But yeah, I would definitely have a
And because
paper.
it's a cousin, and she is very trustworthy in the sense that she was dependable. She took care of the grandfather beautifully. She knows what to do. She can instruct him. He went in with no information to take care of his grandmother. So At one point she wants a good wash, etc. So that's a scene, and then and I love the way he reacts to it, because he does react as a young man. Is like, okay, give me some warning before you undo your top, please. He's not expected to see Grandma naked. But at the same time, he's telling Grandma, don't go up the stairs again tonight. You're too tired. Here's my bed, and they'll just sleep next to each other under the net curtains. So he takes beautiful care of her, but as a family member. Whereas the cousin, she was taking care of this grandfather because as a nurse. She was totally having the nurse. It was necessary as well. So Grandma leaves him a legacy of work ethic, of, okay, you have other options in life. Clearly you were never intended for salaryman.
Or Twitch streamer.
Yeah, and he maybe do that in the evenings, do that in the afternoons. Have some fun, but make some proper money.
Yes, a care job the way he had, there's a lot of time, a downtime, where you can do like your gaming, and whether or not you do Twitch streaming is up to you, but you can game while Granny is sleeping.
Yeah. And if the both of them are taking care of her aunt, and that's a really nice house that aunt had, so there are so many options for this guy now. He's doing very well. I think it's saying also that society expected too little of him, but also what they expected was just totally not going to work for him, and that very often happens. People who just are going to do suddenly, out of left field doing X, Y, or Z, and it's like, but that the course they were on, that the world wanted to put them on, was never going to work for them. He's just not that kind of person. But he did learn discipline. He got up at 4 a.m, etc. He took her to the hospital. He made sure that every single time a family member came there, that he was there to support it with the food and putting the food out and then taking the food away, etc. He was there for everything. So he's not squeamish. He wasn't slacking at any time. He's also not changing his personality to do this, which is very nice to see. He's effectively crossing the gender barrier by taking on a care job. But the world is not calling him out for it. The world is not saying, don't do this. They're saying if he does this, that they will not be in line for this inheritance. And that's being said out loud. So it's known, it's common knowledge, and it is a dynamic that everybody has to deal with all day long.
Is it part of the movie that he is a male coming into a care situation? Is that the thing?
No. At no point does the movie call him out for it, or the social environment there. He is reacting to it as a young man. Like, he is not... Even Mui, the cousin, she is actually reacting without much outward show. She is much finer dressed, etc. But she has more money. But she's not putting on airs at any time to, like, I'm playing a part. She does have actually nurses' uniforms at home, and he remarks on that, and she says, yes, that's for the internet. So she's also doing something on the internet that is further undisclosed.
All young people do something on the internet.
Yes.
Everybody has an Instagram.
Yeah. And maybe she's just talking about her being a nurse, and since she's not working at a hospital, she has to put her nursing outfit on to tell the internet about being a nurse. And maybe she does something else. We don't know. He didn't ask. He kind of asked and then stopped. I like the interaction between the two cousins, Mui and M, because they are talking about reality. She didn't sugarcoat any of it, and she says, this is my way for financial freedom. And he's like, okay, how can I How can I slot into that? Which I think is a much more sensible way to do than all the uncles and stuff who start stealing it, or they want to have grandma. They literally like almost kidnapped grandma and put them in their house and saying, "You're now staying with us. We'll take care of you." And this grandma doesn't want to do that. What they do is they have this. There's this other grandchild. This the little girl called Rainbow, and she's just adorable. Of course, everybody wants to cuddle with Rainbow, and she's just the cutest thing ever. And they parade her out for grandma to, can you please stay with us and give us your house? I love the ending. The ending is where everybody's weeping. I love the ending. It is Buddhist in that sense that, of course, yeah, grandma will die. And then life goes on, and then what happens? But the legacy that grandma gives to M specifically is not just learning how to take care of himself financially, but also the family. Because the reason she wanted the plot was where the film starts with everybody's there at, I believe, Grandpa's plot. And they're there, they're spreading petals, rose petals in various colors, and they are having a picnic. The whole family is together. And that was the reason why Grandma also wants one, so that the whole family can be together. And the whole 2 hours plus is M learning cohesion of family. So this entire thing is about family, but not found family. So cousin is in, but there's almost no other people in this film. There's the friend of grandma who also gets cancer and also dies a little earlier. But that's not what the story is about. It is literally about the family dynamics within the family. And it's all about money. Whereas grandma wants it to be about family, just being together. And Mui says all that people want, she says all that all people want, but basically all that people want is attention. They want to spend time together. It is the time that you spend together that actually makes that connection. If you just don't spend time together, or if you're there and he was always on his phone, his brain was somewhere else, so he never appreciated any of it. This family is a Chinese Thai family. And it gets mentioned a lot of Grandma Ama is also praying to one of the house goddesses actually. And it's a theme throughout the film. But that's fairly normal in Thai society. 1/4 of the population has Chinese roots. And they are... So Ama still speaks Chinese. M does not. It's not clear how much Chinese... Yeah, the mother speaks some Chinese as well, M's mom. So he's of that generation that it's now so watered down that he hasn't picked any up in his life. For us as a Western viewer, these distinctions are difficult to see because we don't get enough Thai films. This is one of the few, and I did see M, the actor who plays M, in some Thai TV series. It's really cool that they're now making stuff, and that it looks like Thailand doesn't bother too much with like keeping people in the TV zone or putting them in film zone, so that it gets crossed over quite nicely. And I appreciate that highly. This movie was nominated for an Oscar in the international film category as the first Thai movie ever. So that by itself is worth just taking a look at the film. It's very much art house. It's now on Netflix in a lot of places, and it's just worth watching. It's a very, very good film. the acting is very good. The cinematography is excellent. I find that with the Thai TV series that I've seen as well, is that they're innovative. They take a good, they have a small budget, but they go as far as they can with it. I don't know about the budget of this one, but it looks great. I love the interiors of the little house that Grandma lives in, because it's a tiny little, I wouldn't say terraced, but not really, but it's, it's boxed in little house, and everything that's going on in that house, to me as a Dutch person, is different. And so it's seeing, oh, how do they do things, and that's considered a good home. And they don't really show any places that are not good places, but they are showing some places that are much wealthier, like Ama's elder brother, I think, who inherited everything. So whatever Ama had is her own. She did that herself. And that's also, and M's mom also works a job. Everybody's working. So there is also a sort of like a subtextual thing going on about women. But I don't know enough about the society to comment on it. But it's very interesting. I would definitely take a look. And that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.